Please don't pay just to tell on us to Trump. Please don't tell.
I mean, we could open with the bounty hunters. Welcome to Beyond Bars.
Because they out here. That's what I'm.
Welcome to Beyond Bars. This is a podcast.
You said the sheriff?
This is a podcast hosted at the Lincoln Lodge, and your hosts are as follows. My name is Catherine Gongaware.
My name is Kyrie the Comic.
And Felonious Monk is finishing his food. His food.
Let me just say to our audience, man, I apologize. I know this is extremely unprofessional.
Just chew away from the mic. They're fine.
Yeah, I just want to point out, though, that I have severe ADHD, and I cannot function. My social battery goes to beneath zero if I've been outside for more than a couple of hours, and I was out all week. So today has been a struggle. I just really appreciate being here with my friends and having food. Also, this shit is delicious, so shout out to the pair.
Shout out to them. Damn. My social battery has been shit, too. But I to y'all point, when I came in and y'all was like, feeling the way y'all feel, the idea that we experience the type of change we are day-to-day living as a country and even as a world, while there's a lack of vitamin D, get the fuck out of here. We need to start doing elections during the summer. What the fuck is this?
It's probably intentional, indeed, but
they just harvesting all the energy. Oh yeah, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, it's
the Matrix.
It's the downside of where we have chosen to plant roots for this podcast. It's a heavy one.
It's a little sad because right now I've never seen so many people of different socioeconomical backgrounds talk about moving out of the country. I can promise, in over 30 years on this earth, I've never seen this type of exodus, if you will.
Yeah, well, and to where? To Canada? To Colombia?
I think the frustrating part is the people who have the least means to do it are the people who are in the most danger of having a reason to leave.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like, where are you going? I want to go to Colombia. I want to go to Venezuela. I want to go somewhere where they look at America as being the bully that they are, and so that they at least have a spine enough to stand up to it. But to go there and not know the culture, not like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gentrifying countries because you hate your own, and that's also not cool. So I don't know, man. I just know this Indian food is delicious, and if anybody in India feels good about, hosting me and my family, holla at your lad, just DM me or something.
You might actually get a rich-ass family that bring your ass over. The Monk for to start doing open mics in Dubai. It's for to get technical.
I learned the dances. You know what I mean? I'm with it. I love Bollywood.
Everybody is paying.
Have you seen Triple R? Great movie.
Triple R. Rolls Royce?
Nope.
No. What's Triple R?
It's a Bollywood movie, and it's like a big budget, big action. Dude, they were fighting tigers. They would jumping off of elephant backs and doing flips.
I ain't seen shit like that since Crouching Tiger.
It's amazing. You got to see it it's on Netflix, I believe, still. But it's like 3 hours.
What you call it, DD?
It's RRR. But I promise you, it is the fastest 3 hours you've ever spent in your life. At no point during that 3 hours do you go, whew. Non-stop action from the beginning. It makes Michael Bay look like a child. It's an unbelievable movie.
Michael Bay will blow up any motherfucker.
Right. No, but they're doing stuff that Michael Bay can't. Like, imagine the latest versions of Fast and the Furious with all of the ridiculous. We're gonna drive our car all the way to the moon. That kind of ridiculous stuff. But they're doing it on elephants and Bengal tigers.
That's kind of raw as fuck. All right. Mm-hmm. I got a question for y'all. Well, really a shout out. And then we could do like a edit where we shout out Catherine for knowing that Trump was going to try to get his ass not out of office. He ain't even been in that motherfucker a couple weeks and they already drafted a bill. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm mistaken, comment and let us know, Kyrie, you a fucking liar. But a bill has already been drafted.
You do that every week when you're telling the truth. It don't matter.
That's true. In defense of Trump, he didn't actually draft it himself. Others are actually drafting this and proposing it, which I feel like I'm in a psyop or like some type of escape room.
It doesn't matter.
Wait, no. What is the defeatist shit? What do you mean?
Because it's not defeatist. I've been in this, but I've been saying this is 4 to 16 years, and 4 I don't believe is going to happen.
16, he's dead. He's not that fucking healthy.
But I think it will be the regime of Trump. for 16
That's
years.
why they chose J.D. Vance, because
Yeah.
they needed somebody that was
Nigga.
public.
It's not. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter who it's drafted by or where or whatever. Like, this is not going to end in 4 years. I can't even.
Maybe.
This is my prediction. It's not, and it's not one that I am proud to display or stand behind. And I don't. I hope it's alarmist. Like we said when Zoe was here, I hope that I'm wrong. But on day 2, proven at least in part right, and mostly because like the two-party system is broken. I don't see the Democrats putting anyone forward who, I mean, there's a, you know who I think the one candidate that could really potentially, now I'll say today, and we don't really need to get into it because it's kind of relevant. No, but that would be a different argument. Almost more to the centrist moderate is there is a congressman out of Texas who's I think either a pastor, he's super Christian, and he's very very outspoken about how what the Republican Party and Trump are doing are not of Christian mind. Ooh. And I will find his name and before the end of the podcast because he deserves his flowers. But I've been watching him like I used to kind of watch Beto before Beto took a couple like weird sidesteps. But he is a agreeable white man.
Yeah, no, that's needed because Newsom in California.
Yeah, I mean,
bro
he
gotta
could
hang it up. Oh, he shit the bed with his fire. He shit the fucking bed.
He had been shitting the bed prior too, but the fire made it harder to ignore.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of.
I don't know. I still think he would be in line, like if it were today.
Well, yeah, if it was today, I would pick him over Trump.
Yeah,
but then again, I would pick the crack of your ass over Trump. Like, there's no way. That was unnecessary, man. I apologize.
Welcome back.
Yeah, no. As I said, I was like, that was. I didn't need enough. That's what I mean.
You know what's crazy? My ass crack probably be a better president.
Well, it would be. It would be as representative, right, of what is to come.
It would probably look better with better hair.
In any event.
And that's on me. That's on me because I said I didn't have to say that.
We do tend to lead him. Do tend to lead him to water, where he will take his pants off.
He will take his pants off and waddle in it.
We did start it. Yeah, I mean, we have a number of things we can talk about today. And the first week of Trump's presidency, we were recording this on Sunday, January, 24th, 26th. And what a week it has been. Hundreds of executive orders, some of which are allegedly unenforceable, but already are being enforced by committees, by federal agents. A bunch of my friends are top level of nonprofits that are funded by the federal government and have had to wipe their websites literally of DEI. I don't really understand how that's happening, but it is happening. We've got Target, we've got mass deportations live, we've got deportations being refused by Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia said,
we've got corporations.
Don't land that plane here.
And this really
Colombia
does all
said,
surround.
You do not have right to land those planes here. We're not taking anybody that's not, take them back.
Yeah, they would not.
But you see how what are you
they
doing? You just
flights.
flying around, just getting denied airspace.
You didn't plan to come.
They said Petro said the Colombian president said we will accept our return citizens if you return them with dignity. He said not on this plane. And then he offered the presidential plane to bring them back over, but he also said that there's 15,000 undocumented Americans running around Colombia, and
so you
that
take
can't
them back
be.
When you're playing?
Yeah, and that in Trump's response to saying, so Trump said that he would raise tariffs to 25% this week and 50% next week if he doesn't take these return citizens. But guess who that affects? Guess what we export from Colombia?
Coke. I mean,
coffee, dickhead.
Yeah.
Coffee and petrol.
The other thing that
and
keeps
oil
you up.
and bananas and
oil.
flowers. So the farmers market is about to get real unfun. Okay, avocados, another top export. Like people,
That's your shit, ain't it?
People.
I like a lot of those things. I like everything, and I think the fentanyl that we get is from there too.
Hey man.
As a country, though,
Jack.
not like me personally. As a country, that's what.
And guess what it takes to run those mass meat market?
Fentanyl?
No, I don't. I would never. I would fucking never. It's illegal.
Anyway, so there's that. I think the portion around, by the way, this podcast and justice reform and crime, right, for me, is at least that this like back and forth on illegal immigrants and birthright citizenship and like what is illegal immigration and what people have access to, because I went and did my at least this week's homework on this. Like, I think people think that illegal immigrants are such a problem for this country because they think that they have access to tax dollar funded programs like food stamps, like healthcare, like federal programs, and they do not. If they're undocumented and illegal immigrants, unless there is an emergency situation like what's happening in Chicago and the migrant, is my understanding of this. So yeah, like they illegally cross the border, but beyond that, like
they don't harm. Like the numbers of crimes they commit are lower than the number of crimes that American citizens commit.
Yeah, most.
I think
which one was the school?
And we know this,
right?
and we know this because most of the
all those mass
yes,
shootings.
because most, for people that don't actually believe that or don't know the statistic behind that, most undocumented immigrants are in private prisons in the United States, or in private prisons because they have to be close to a courthouse, or because we don't give a fuck because private prisons don't receive programming in the same way that local jails and state prisons and federally funded prisons are. So most illegal immigrants are in these undocumented, are in these private prisons, and that is only 8% of the prison population. So like 8% of criminals, so to speak, or people being detained for having maybe allegedly committed a crime is that amount. So just to clarify that, and yes, of course, there are some still being held in jails, but technically innocent.
We have an issue with facts and how people receive facts. Right? Yeah. So statistically, everything that you just said, you can document. However, the people who feel the way they feel won't hear it from you.
Yeah.
They won't hear it from me. They won't really hear it at all. And the reason I say that is because multiple people said, hey, Project 2025 is a problem. Trump said, I don't know anything about it. And people said, he don't know about it. I don't know. He doesn't know anything about it. And I'm looking at people going, if someone has lied to me 80 times, I can't use their word as evidence that they're not lying. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
A liar saying I'm not lying is true.
A liar saying I'm not lying is the only time he's telling the truth. So that's always been my issue with brown and black people who support Trump and then say things like Nelly said. Nelly's argument was, can you show me something he's said or done that was racist? And you go, okay, I'm okay with you saying I don't know his background.
No, I'm not going for nobody at this point, bro.
But
Nelly
you can't, especially
Nelly too damn old.
But this is how you know he's lying. Him and Snoop.
We've had a lot of disrespect to the millennial music.
A lot of
by
it.
the way,
It's all
our
done.
heroes are
It's fucking cooked. We got like 3 left, and I don't know who it is.
It ain't Soulja Boy, and that's the wild part. Soulja Boy. I'm more upset at Soulja Boy than the rest.
Ooh, say more.
Because of the energy afterwards.
Because Soulja Boy didn't have the platform that Snoop has. Snoop doesn't need the money. Nelly just sold $50 million of his back catalog, and he's married to Ashanti, who's like, again, I don't know his financial situation, but he don't need, like, there's a bunch of other things he could have done for money. Soulja Boy, on the other hand, is only relevant because we talk about the things that people listened to in the early 2000s. He doesn't do new music. He doesn't have I'm not saying he's broke.
No, yeah.
I'm saying that he had the best reason out of all of them to not do anything. He doesn't have any known financial problems. He's not beefing with anybody. He doesn't have a court case. Rick Ross was like, oh, I got $65,000 in taxes. Pay your taxes, Ricky.
65
$65,000 for a dude who drives Lambos.
You eat that much wing stop in a week, you fucker. Sorry. That wasn't okay. I don't like fat shaming my people.
I'm kind of here for it.
65. Not the.
Yo, you say, son, eat 10 grand of fucking wings a day? That's
crazy.
crazy.
Fucking lemon pepper stepper ass boy. Fuck you talking. 65,000. Shut the fuck up.
Right, but that's the thing.
Like, meal, nigga.
That's the thing that's wild to me, right? Because we're in the middle of this thing where people are trying to determine what they're going to do with Target and Amazon and all of these places. Starbucks. And then there's arguments about, well, it's going to affect black businesses if you start to boycott Target because let me just be clear here. Let me just be clear. I 100% will destroy a single black business to make sure that I'm not giving money to a corporation that is destroying black people. So I don't really, whatever the argument is, I think that, I think Tabitha Brown has some amazing products. I think the lip
Good bomb.
Balm Lady. I think they have amazing products, and I hope that they can survive a boycott. However, I am not going to say, well, I won't boycott Target because I don't want to harm these 3 individual black businesses. It just doesn't make sense.
No.
And it's just like if there was a black bus driver doing the Selma bus boycotts, I'm not going to go, well, if we boycott, Ricky gonna lose his job. Well, Ricky has to stand with the community in that day and go, hey, it's more important for me to make sure that all of my people have the right to be treated with dignity than it is for me to make sure I can keep this good job. And that's where we're standing right now with the Target people who are like, well, if you don't buy it, they won't put our stuff on the shelves. They don't. Who fucking cares?
They do understand it was DEI for those people to get their businesses in Target in the first place. And that program that helped get those black businesses there is no longer existing.
But hold on. There is a counter argument to that. The counter argument is the large companies who actually care about DEI understand that using the words DEI make them a target. So if they're removing the terms DEI, and I think Target might have even made a statement to the effect that we are going to continue to do business in the communities that we do business with and support those communities that we work with because that language doesn't include DEI. If that's what's happening, then I can understand people taking a wait and see approach. But I think people are jumping to I'll never boycott Target. Okay, if you live in a food desert and Target's the only place for you to eat, sure. But if you live somewhere where there's a Aldi's and a Jewel, Costco, and 4 other places, and you're like, no, but I really like Target, then do that, but do it with your whole chest. Don't come back a week later like, I can't believe how they doing black people. I can't believe how you doing black people.
I think it's also a publicity, very intentional that we're putting it out there about Target so that people will go to Walmart. And if y'all are going, you are so confused.
Walmart never started.
You're so beyond confused.
Walmart never had a DEI.
Walmart is behind every bit of money moving through this campaign.
Anywho,
Walmart damn near got an IV plugged up to the fuck.
To Trump. They keep
like
him alive.
A founder of prison labor.
Do you understand that Walmart put so many people on?
But you know how smart it is to be attacking Target online and being like, Target's removing their programs, though. I saw a number of people be like, going to Walmart, and I was
like, you know where I'm going? Costco.
Costco
came out and made a different statement. Costco said, hey, I don't care who the president, I don't care who his mom and his daddy is. We have DEI programs. It works for us. It's better for our business. It's better for our people. It's better for our neighborhoods. It's better for our employees. We will continue. Anybody, they want to sue, we got lawyers too. Do what you need to do.
We will record at a Costco.
Yeah, listen, I'm about to get a Costco membership. I don't even need 45 fucking rolls of toilet paper, but I'll go.
The $5 pumpkin pie. The size of this table.
And that's why I fuck with
so
Costco.
Good.
Pumpkin pie, big as this room.
So good.
$5.
My dad and I have started analyzing where different areas of the country they had slightly different spice levels.
Yes.
Like that's how much of this pumpkin pie we eat.
That's
$5 pumpkin pie. It is
hilarious.
as big as this table.
$5.
$5 pumpkin pie. Yeah.
But,
we're gonna give Costco their money. They deserve
yes,
it.
we supporting Costco, but also the reason why Target is always under fucking scrutiny. Not even 10 years ago, they was using prison labor
Because they have a Target on their back. Okay, sorry. Monk started it.
I wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But in all seriousness, like, who do you think you are to be trying to save face when you was already in debt? You're a shitbag. You use prison labor for people that you wouldn't hire once they get released.
I mean, they, in fairness, they just followed a trend there, the superstores.
and my issue with that is, at what point do you defy trends for humanity?
But I think that's why there's so much talk of exodus, because I think when people take a step back, there's nowhere you can actually go to avoid the big corporations. They have ignored monopoly rules for so long since they deregulated everything with Reagan. They've ignored these monopoly rules for so long that a store like Walmart can come into your town and shut down every other business that does all of these things individually well, but not well enough to offset the convenience of going into a Walmart and getting clothes and groceries. And Target is the same, right? And Target is for the people who don't want to look like they're going to with Target. You know what I mean?
What community of people made Target lit?
Right, but then you get that's the thing. You have Amazon literally selling products at a loss
just to fuck people over.
To shut down small businesses, right? You sell beanies, your beanies cost $4 to make. You can't sell them for anything under $4.01 and continue to live, and they'll get 5,000 of them and sell them for $3, and they'll lose $5,000 to put you out of business because you can't survive 3 months without anybody buying hats. And they've been doing that for years, and that's horrible business practice. It's been seen. It's on record, and the government does nothing. So we can stop pretending. And I want us to really think about the way that we communicate this stuff, because we've had a lot of guests. We've had these conversations, and it's like, well, they can't do this. They can't do that because there are allegedly laws and rules in place, but laws and rules only matter if someone's going to enforce the laws and rules, and people don't have spines. Hakeem Jeffries, respectfully, came in the day and said, presidents come and go, but God remains on his throne. Hey, bro, if you want Jesus to take the wheel right now, instead of the person that we elected to take the wheel, we are fucked. We are you calling on Jesus on the Senate floor? Like, what are we doing right now? So there are a lot of people who go, well, I can't shop at Amazon. I can't shop at Target. I need this thing for was a friend of mine was saying that earlier today. I need this thing, this very specific thing for my daughter. I have to have it by this date. I've gone to 8 different stores locally. She lives in Boston, in a big city. Mm-hmm. I've gone to 8 different local stores. I cannot find it. The only place that I can find it is on Amazon, and my child has to have it. I can't go to school and be like, hey, I'm sorry my child can't finish the project, but I'm boycotting because I'm black. Mm-hmm. So you've put people in a position where the only way that they can function in society is to use these places. So you can't really effectively boycott unless you have money, and you don't need those things. But if you have money and you don't need those things, you likely are not boycotting Target because you're not the people that they are concerned with offending. It's just a fucked up situation. So it's a lot of people who are like, hey, man, Accra, Ghana, y'all say y'all take any black people, any of us? See you in a minute.
Yeah, because that's where Earn Your Leisure is at. My homeboy, Randis Hopkins, he got a studio that's going to be breaking ground out there, recording studio, so people going to be out there filming and doing shit. A lot of people are busting that move. I seen like Ludacris and a few other celebrities go over there and get their stuff. My friends told me they was over there and seen Stevie.
Ludacris' wife is Gabonese, though. I think she's actually from Gabon, and he's a naturalized citizen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why it was weird when Cat Williams said they go over there and get you a weird looking light skin.
Yeah, because I was like,
not her.
That's African. What?
She's pretty. I don't.
But also, Cat.
Maybe
hey, man, Cat, where your wife at, man? Shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up. Like, I love you, brother. You was on point with that, but like, hey, man, finding love too hard for motherfuckers without it to be talking. Shut the fuck up. Now that's from a lonely motherfucker.
Hey, man. Nah, I do.
Hey, man.
Wow. Sometimes if you can tell, some of my hey mans are really just hugs for Kyrie. It's like, hey man, I just want you to know I'm here.
Can't get up across the table.
Yeah, I can't just. But hey man,
I can do
we're here. You don't have to be a lonely guy.
I can't hide it.
And I'll say this too again, and I think because it really offends me when people ridicule joy. Like, how is joy bothering you? And I keep going back to that lady's comment where she was like, that joke isn't even that funny. And I'm like, do you realize I enjoy my friends? I enjoy your company so much that sometimes you'll say something that's innocuous. It's not funny to anybody in the world, but I'm so glad to hear you say it because of the way you say it, the timing of what you said, and the history that we have together. I'm going to laugh. And y'all can join in and laugh, or y'all can be like, that's an inside joke. It's not for me. But what you're not going to do is make me feel a way about the joy I feel around my people, because that's what's going to save us right now. Yeah. I did prison. In prison, I was there. We told jokes. We freestyle rap battled each other. We worked out together. We told stories about what we were going to do when we came home. We wrote all of we made plans. I had a whole business plan, a binder this thick with 2 other brothers, and we were going to do all of these things when we got out, and we were going to open these types of businesses and do these things together. All of these things we did not because we were trying to be rehabilitated, but because we were trying not to go fucking insane. And so you have to find joy in those dark places, or you've already lost. And it's going to be a influx of shit every fucking day. If you don't remember 2016 or 2020, every day you would get up and you would be terrified to open your apps because you knew that motherfucker might have said some weird shit. Yeah, I put my dick in a screwdriver last night and I made a new dick. It's a twisted dick. Ha ha! Fuck you, America. You want to know what we was gonna say,
now
right?
and then Twisted Dicks are selling number one
Now,
on the
now
platform.
Twisted Dick is the number one in the Apple Store, right? So
now they got a coin for Twisted Dick, and everybody's buying a meme coin for Twisted Dick because
Twisted
nobody
Dick
wants to
meme
be poor. Nobody wants a 15-year-old
fuck
to
you
make
this
millions
way.
while they have to still go to
Fuck
fucking
you
work
that
and make
way.
$25,000 and support a 5-person household. So they like, fuck, I'm finna put my money on Twisted Dicks, and then they do a rug pull.
And that-
I just lost everything.
So what he's talking about is Kyrie invested a lot of money in a hop to a Bitcoin.
Melania specifically.
he thought that it was
about
the Melania. He thought it was the Melania hop to a coin. He was like, yeah, she could definitely. And then we were like, no, that's gross. But it was too late. He was 20 grand in.
I got a personal loan.
I got a personal loan to buy hop to a meme coin.
Oh
That's
my
fucking
God.
crazy. But yeah, I think if we're not trying to find joy, man, you could be mad. You don't think I was mad every fucking day that I wasn't going home, that I got turned down for parole 4 fucking times? I got turned down for parole 4 years in a row because I happened to get arrested. And this is another reason that if the rules are arbitrary, then they're not fair inherently. They can't both be arbitrary and fair at the same time. So the fact that I got locked up when I did determined how much time I did for the crime I did. If I had gotten locked up 5 years earlier, I would have done 2 years and came home. If I got locked up 20 years later, I would have done 2 years and come home. But because I got locked up in the middle of the crack epidemic while we were talking about superpredators, while we were talking about changing all of the laws, anybody who had a crime that was violent or potentially violent was treated as if they had all of their time to do, just mandatory time. So I'm doing 6 years knowing that the political landscape is the reason I'm doing 6 years because I should have only done 2. And the only reason I'm not beating people up every fucking day is because I'm finding pockets of joy. So if you're the type of person who's going, why are you laughing? It's not funny. Nothing's funny. Everything's serious. People are dying. Hey, man, we're trying not to be one of those fucking people. You have to find joy in the midst of this crazy shit or you will lose your fucking mind. So laugh. What don't? But leave me the fuck alone. I'll slap the shit out you and then go back to laughing. I'm sorry. They told me to stop threatening people.
Actually, we made it quite a bit of.
But
I'm glad that you brought up Superpredator because I'm glad that you brought up Superpredator because reintroducing the illegal alien terminology for undocumented immigrants and for migrants into this country and for asylum seekers in this country is a reprise of Superpredator. Mm-hmm. This Mississippi bill that you sent us, this Mississippi proposal is called the Illegal Alien Certified Bounty Hunter Program. As in, if you find somebody, yes, it is the reintroduction of slave catchers, or for white people, these are called snatchers. If you ever read Harry Potter, Voldemort in his little crew brought in snatchers. Like it's so the reason I even say that is it's just so, I think for so many people that aren't familiar with Superpredator, that aren't familiar with slave catchers, it's like lore. Like snatchers are evil in one of the most read like fantasy books of all time. Snatchers, and we just propose that we bring them back.
I think
to bring your neighbors
interesting things
away
is
and to jail and prison your neighbors.
Every conservative watches, like they don't watch Star Wars and go, yeah, Empire.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Nobody roots for fucking Voldemort.
Right. They didn't watch. They didn't say Voldemort. Yeah, fuck Harry Potter. They didn't watch the Hunger Games and go, they got that shit right in the capital city. But when it's an opportunity for them to vote for fucking Katniss Everdeen, they go, nah, dog. Back to capital city. You are actively multiple times voting for the Empire and then acting like you're doing the right thing. You're fucking weirdos, dog. Y'all are being weird. Slave catchers are back. They turn into police. This is one of the reasons we like, well, why don't black people like the police? Because the black people, because police's origin was from slave catchers.
Yes.
Because slaves leaving plantations was illegal. And so I don't really care when people say something is legal or illegal because shit can be legal as fuck and be fucked up and illegal as fuck and be necessary for life.
To snatch your neighbors. And
your neighbors.
Snatch your neighbors.
You
Meanwhile, while we're
that.
talking illegal and illegal, by the way, Constitution being removed from the White House website, do you know what's illegal? Do you know what your rights are? Do you know what this country is founded upon? And then removing the entire Spanish version. I mean, after all of the after the Latino vote moved in the direction of Trump, it's like, ¿entiendes ahora? Like, you can't, like,
there's no, I was telling somebody the other
You are
day,
being
they were like,
snatched.
I told people so, da 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 da, and they were like, this is the find out part of after the fuck around. Everybody fucked around, now they all find it out. I'm like, wait, a lot of us didn't fuck around though, but we're also forced to be in the find out phase. So I don't really take much pride in being right about those things. I don't take pride in being right about Project 2025 actually coming. What's scary to me though is it's not just the Latino people who moved their vote, who were for some reason convinced that they were othered in that conversation. Well, it can't be us. I want to say this to some of my ADOS people. I'm a descendant of American slaves.
Yeah, I definitely want to holler.
I want to talk to you real quick because I want you to understand what's happening with the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment provides birthright citizenship for anybody born in this country. So you're like, well, I was born here, so I am a citizen of this country. But I want you to go back for Reconstruction, and this is how the Reconstruction existed, and black people were going to Congress. So they had the right to vote. And then too many black people were going to Congress, so they changed the law to state that you couldn't vote if your grandfather couldn't vote. But slavery hadn't existed. Slavery hadn't been abolished long enough for any black person in this country to have grandparents who weren't fucking slaves. Unless your granddaddy was 7, how the fuck could your grandfather have had the right to vote? So my point is this belief that we have that a country that has put Asians in internment camps, that had lynchings, that have assassinated people who were advocating for equality, that had slave patrols, that had slavery, that fought a war to maintain slavery, that even the man who ended slavery said, if I could end this war and maintain the Union without freeing one slave, I would do it. So this idea that this country has never been this bad, it's a country of morals. We would never. Go find an indigenous American and ask them what happened to their people. This is the best it's been. So if your belief is that they can't take your citizenship, why do you believe that? There is nothing historically that says they will not revoke rights from people when they feel like it. They've done it several times in history, and you're like, well, we won't allow it. The fuck are you going to do? What are you going to do with your 9mm and their drones? What are you going to do?
There was reports that were refuted, but
I like refuted. Fuck it, that's
too.
So they were essentially snatching motherfuckers. And to your point, you're talking about people who are not culturally sensitive. They don't know shit. They're just given the ability to go in there and do shit. And
they tried in Jersey. They just tried in Jersey at a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, fuck restaurants, bro. They actually were grabbing people that ain't
That's what I'm talking
Latino
about.
at all.
They walked into a Mexican restaurant and started grabbing people. Said, well, "Let me see your papers." And a dude
and for the
that
record,
was in
if
the
someone
military,
stops you, you can keep walking just briefly before.
Oh, but that
you
means you
do
can
not
smoke a
have
motherfucker. They try to. Hey,
I'm just saying, if
an
an ICE agent approaches you, you happen to be listening to this podcast, or you're trying to spread any of this around, you can keep walking.
However, you have inalienable rights that you're gonna have to stand on at some point because, and this was the Navajo tribe specifically. The Navajo tribe leader had to come out and say, like, no, they ain't take nobody, but they are getting real handsy because at the end of the day, if I'm a racist and the big racist just told me I could run up in this motherfucker and do whatever, I'm doing whatever.
I'm not saying they're not blocking the door. Technically, you can keep walking.
Because they've already tried to enter a CPS school. That's on wax.
Yeah.
So
churches,
we already know that places like
schools,
churches, hospitals, those ain't holy no more.
Jesus Cristo.
So I urge people to really, really, really think, like, why do you think it can't be you? The price of eggs ain't went nowhere, motherfucker. They not going nowhere, motherfucker. If Trump bring up a tariff one more time,
50% on Colombian oil is not going to be good for your egg prices.
Because what nobody understands, Catherine, and this is why I'll be having to take my time away from people. When we talk about the price of stuff like oil and energy, that increases the price that brick and mortar needs to even exist. Yes. So you thought the price of anything that had a fucking doorknob was going to go down? It cannot go down.
Your food is manufactured in this country.
It takes oil to manufacture
It
the
is not
fucking
coming
food.
from a farm out back.
I just don't understand how people continue to give the benefit of the doubt. I just don't understand. As a person who's rarely given the benefit of the doubt, I'm trying to understand what specifically it is that this person has done that makes you continue to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's lied. It's been proven. It's been recorded There's video evidence. A court has determined it. A jury has determined it. A judge has determined it. The fact that you believe that the entire world conspired against this man means that you have to give him the benefit of the doubt beyond what they gave Jesus. And I'm trying to understand what it is that he has done or said or made you feel. Because when people start talking about economic anxiety, why do you think Trump is going to make the prices go down if they didn't go down in his first term? Why do you think any of the things that he said he was going to do for you that he didn't get to do in the first term, why do you believe he's going to do that this time? If he had the opportunity and didn't take the opportunity to do it, why did you choose to give him the benefit of the doubt this time? And I think if you look in your spirit, if you look down and stop trying to finagle a bagel, just be a little bit honest with yourself and say,
it's just
I
distraction.
didn't want that black lady. That's why.
I actually respect you more.
I would fuck with you because if you tell me it was for the price of eggs, then you should be fucking pissed right now, right?
Like,
shouldn't you be angry right now?
Anger?
Because the eggs are fucking higher than they were when Biden was president now.
People being real quiet. People being
real
quiet.
Like
the price of nothing has gone down.
Prices,
not one fucking thing has gone down.
It's also
you motherfuckers are losing
here's
your
what
mind.
here's what you have to give though the Trump administration across the board is they're like the level of publicity stunts and grifting and like distraction, right? Like people don't remember 4 years ago because all we've been doing is complaining about Biden dying for the last 4. And yes, things are getting expensive. Yes, what's going on in Israel and Gaza. Like there's so much information and misinformation overload, which is why the Facebook saying like we're just going to print whatever the fuck we want, TikTok, everyone bending the knee is just that's how they won, and they played it really, really smartly. They played it brilliantly to say, you know what, I'm not going to do anything about TikTok. Put my name on it.
No,
actually,
they know.
Like,
they know
Can't even
Americans.
re-download it.
They know how Americans think. They know how Americans think.
We're not.
And they
we're
know
not a serious people.
We're not a. This is one of the reasons I really enjoy watching Succession is because everything Mr. Roy respectfully said sounded like someone talking about the United States of America. All of his kids were different facets of our government. One was fucking a drug addict, just fucking weirdo. The other one didn't really want to be involved, but you know what? I feel like this is the only way to get close to you, so now I'm going to be involved. And then one of them really, really wanted to do it, but nobody respected him. There was a fourth son who probably had more right to it than everyone else because he was the oldest, but no one took him seriously at all, so he never even tried.
And then there was a woman with experience.
And there was a woman with experience. They were like, shh. And
but without specific experience, and also thought she deserved the spot just because she was. Just because.
And so when you think about America not being a serious country, it's somebody watching the country go down this hill, and everybody's, I could save it, I could save it, I could save it, and you just going, you're a bunch of fucking unserious people. Fuck off.
You know that's what China be saying.
Why would I negotiate with you?
Well, that little red no app, it really, because to our point.
Oh, Chinese people are laughing their asses off at us now. They're like, wait, you motherfuckers can't do. So, there was a question and answer where they were like, so tell the truth. Y'all really have to pay for ambulances, or is that our government lying to us? So their government's telling them the truth. Their government's telling the truth, but we're like, our government would never lie. Did you know what China does? Yes, China is absolutely horrible on human rights. China is horrible on a number of issues.
Everything you just said sounds like
Full
America.
Fucking stop. America is too, in this belief that we need to, but ours is better because we put flowers on it, or ours is better because it includes capitalism, which actually in many ways exacerbates the conditions. But the idea that our government is the only government in the entire world that tells the truth about every other country, and every other country just uses propaganda, we might be the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet to believe that. You can't fucking believe that. Like, who the fuck makes you think our government is somehow morally superior to the corrupt government? Those are people. Everybody is a people. And to want that kind of power, there's got to be something a little bit corrupt in you in the first fucking place. So to believe that our government is absolutely telling us the truth about everything, but also to believe that our government is lying to us about everything, is how we fucking got here. Nobody knows who to trust.
And it feel like we're on a hamster wheel, and there's nobody. No one's able to say, "Hey, stop!"
Hamster wheel.
Get off.
Like,
Hey,
hold
man.
up while we
Hamster
figure out
wheel,
this
but we're at
electoral.
the top of the hill, and someone just released like the brakes.
No, somebody did cut the brakes.
Rolling down the hill.
we haven't been able to stop and say, hey, who was assassinating this motherfucker? Who was trying to do this assassination?
Hey, you talking about who actually tried already? I thought
no,
you were making
like
a suggestion.
No,
I got scared. I was like, hey man, wait a minute.
We can never figure out that shit.
One guy died. One guy was hiding behind a fence, and it was a whole bunch of weird shit.
You know, like we'd never fucking have a talk about the Electoral College ever as a country.
We never had that conversation.
We've never had a preemptive talk where we can say, hey,
Hillary
that
Clinton
shit coming around
won
in
the
4
popular
years.
vote. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote.
Still
Hillary
mad.
Clinton
2001. I wanted Al Gore, and I couldn't fucking vote.
So wow, man.
I'm sorry. Because I saw.
Hey, do we remember to mute Kyrie so we could just use? We are supposed to give him a mic that's like a remote, the controller for the video game, but it's not plugged in.
We should buy Tyler a set of headphones for while we're recording.
Y'all
so
remember
he
when
can
Al
just
Gore dropped the global warming documentary?
Well, I thought you was about to. Yes.
And told people, hey y'all, it's gonna be natural disasters that come, and you actually not gonna be able to manage them.
Yeah, but that's what they've been fighting. That's where Project 2025 came from.
2001.
Yeah.
He told you motherfuckers before the towers was gone.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. That's the whole point is all of this was nothing that they're doing wasn't done in plain sight. But the American people distrust the government so much that when the government said, hey, be careful, we were like, man, fuck you. You're just trying to scare us. And so they were brought in. One of the guys was on CNN the other day. He's like, well, you know, the thing we did best was our messaging on Project 2025. We made the Dems look crazy. Every time they brought it up, we go, that's not real.
Brilliant campaign.
He said it was brilliant. He said, but we've won now. It absolutely was what we were doing. It's what we're going to do. It's a brilliant plan, and it's going to help Americans.
Yep.
This was stated directly on. So all of the people like, he's not doing it. You guys are just making that up. He said he's not going to do it. You guys are just you're trying to scare people. That you stop believing everything you hear. 60% of his executive orders were directly pulled from Project 2025. It is what it is. I'm not scared. I've never been. There's no reason for me to be scared.
Well, and
I'm just going, y'all don't stop fucking being
But
stupid.
kind of to your point and your question about, like why are you confused? I think it goes back to both our two separate points about like why white women were also on the side of Trump. And in my viewpoint, it was because it was the othering thing. It was like, it can't happen to me. I don't think that I'm in that position, but your point is also valid, which is the number 2 spot is better than the number 4 spot. And I think both things are probably still true.
And it's a combination of those things for other people too. The black people who think if we have this particular amount of economic freedom, then we won't be treated like those hood boogers. They don't find out until they find out, right? They don't find out until somebody arrests them on their own property for breaking into their own property. Then they're like, damn, I feel like you treating me like a nigger. Yes. Because there aren't nigger tears. You just are one.
Oh, still nigger. Huh. And I don't want to be the guy that's just morbid, but like people
usually do.
Yeah, I know. I'm smiling, but I'm not taking joy in this because people die. Like people are literally dying while you get your shit together. People are hungry as fuck.
There are 2 million people incarcerated in this country. As of the last stat in 2023, actually might be a little lower than the 1.9 now.
It was also
it's not because of your boy.
About 5 degrees last week in Chicago, and the homeless population is skyrocketing. And that's where we are. The richest country in the world incarcerates more people than it helps. It criminalizes poverty while also feeding a system that creates poverty.
We have more vacant homes.
There's a finite amount of money, right? That you can't just continue to put infinite amounts of money into circulation, because if you do, it destabilizes capitalism. So that's why they don't do it. It would fuck businesses up because you don't know who's making what and what's making who. So you can't do that. That means that there's a limited amount of funds. So as the top gets more funds, the bottom will have less funds. There's no way for them to get that money from the top other than to fucking take it from them. Well, they could prove their worth, but part of capitalism is making sure you keep wages as low as you possibly can without breaking the system. And we're at the point where the system is almost broken. There are too many people who are in poverty, and what the government has decided to do about it, instead of ending poverty, they decided to criminalize it so that they can use that prison labor to keep the cost of labor down. It's not a conspiracy. It's already being done. There are people in Alabama there's a mayor in Alabama who's like, you can't let these inmates go. You're letting the good ones go. The ones that we make the most money off of. This is happening right now. This is happening now. This isn't something I'm guessing, or it's not that bad. It's 2 million people who could be put to work at any time for nothing. 2 million people in the workforce that are getting away with that the businesses are getting away with paying pennies on the dollar.
By the way, 30% in local jails, as in not yet
sentenced,
not
yet
yet
convicted.
guilty.
Meaning, you can't say I did that shit, stupid.
30%.
And the same way that you want us to give, the same way you give the benefit of the doubt to a person who's done these things before, you want me to just treat people who've been arrested. Wasn't it Lori Lightfoot who said if they've been arrested, they've done something? Our cops don't just arrest people.
Yeah, she's a big suit goofy.
That's exactly what I call a BSG. Big suit goofy.
Big suit
But
goofy.
that's what we are. So it's not, people aren't being alarmist. People are just pointing out that these weren't surprise. This was visible. It was done in your fucking face. You just didn't want to believe the people who were telling you it because you felt like the people who were telling you it were inferior to you. You have to hold that a little bit. You have to sit with it a little bit and go, why didn't I believe that the lady who had been a prosecutor, a senator, and a vice president was more qualified than a guy who had written books and been on TV? Why did I think that the person who had taken the educational tract, the job tract, the life tract to become the president was less qualified to be the president than the guy with the mushroom dick who hangs out with celebrities? You need to ask yourself that. I know why you did it, but you need to sit with yourself and stop lying about economic anxiety. Black people are economically anxious too. To way larger degrees based on, familial wealth. But we didn't just go in large fucking groups and vote for a guy who we knew wasn't going to fucking take care of us. Some did, and you need your ass whipped too.
I do.
You got to hand it to black women again. 92%.
They're like, nah. She was like, what about the 8? Listen, man, you got to let some sheep get away. Sometimes you got to let them go.
We're not worried about 8.
Yeah.
I am deeply worried, though, that by the time people realize that we need to do things that we haven't done, like people in different communities coming together, like it'll be so many people that we were supposed to protect that'll be in situations of peril. That's fucked up, dog. Because we're not talking about like, able-bodied cisgender men just running around this motherfucker with like plethora, like a lot of money and shit. We talking about like disabled old people. We talking about children that don't know no better. We talking about like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't find the community that ain't being impacted now or later or now and later. And so shit, how the fuck y'all sleep at night knowing you just failed your family?
They don't care, man.
You different.
I don't think it's just don't care. I think it's don't know, and we're fed information that made it seem like this was actually going to work out.
That was the wild part about what we learned about Russia, right? That Russia took America's racial animus.
The wealthy don't care, to be clear, because they're actually fine.
Right.
Like,
they prefer us
they're
to be
fine.
Fighting,
But I think people that I think people that voted at the middle class to below level were handed a better campaign. And I don't
a campaign that spoke to them in a way that
Hitler
that said I'll get you money, and by the way, you actually don't have to try that hard. Yeah. I mean, because part of the American quote unquote dream is laziness, right?
But
to just
really
work till I don't want to anymore.
They were able to do that while saying that the Democrats were only offering a welfare state. They literally were buying your vote with a stimulus check or I'm gonna keep TikTok running. Like that's a purchased vote. So when you like the Dems just want handouts, you're getting a handout. Well, I worked for it. You were a TikToker, bro.
It's just language.
You're not gonna play in my face. I'm not saying that it's not a lot of effort, but what you're not going to do is tell me that you deserve to make a living more than the guy who works every day as a teacher and can't afford to pay rent. You both deserve to be able to live, but the fact that you were willing to switch your vote for something that you should have been able to do regardless,
Yeah, and I don't know about y'all, but I was thinking about this with the TikTok creators and people that were going to lose money. We have, I think, more than triple our Instagram followers on TikTok, and I would have handed them over. I would have handed him over so that we could not pay $7,000 for an ambulance.
I handed $60,000. I had
would have handed him over because you can get him back. You can get him back. It's like a degree of lazy. It's a degree of I-ness versus they-ness and laziness versus like it's just figure it out. Like, do you want what you want, or do you want do you want to look the other way? You know, is what I see in a lot of this. And by the way, like I also get it. We're talking about pockets of like joy and laughs. Like I order shit off Prime too when I need it quickly. Like I'm just as subject to that. DoorDash, Uber, what Uber is paying their drivers and everything. Like it's not good. Like the system is not good, and we're all participating in it. But if we're not like talking about it and even making small moves and changes around it to be like, you know what, like maybe I don't order that on Amazon because I can walk across the street. Like maybe I don't actually go to Target because this is real, and you can take a stand in a moment, and you can also change your mind, and they can, you know, develop and change. But like, just like we were able to, if you buy the argument that the American people spoke and we could keep TikTok, then what you do actually does matter. Right? Like rallying around anything in some capacity, and your voice and your decision and where you put your dollars and where you put your time, more importantly. Like, I think in this country, we have such a confusion about like, yes, like money is important, but what you do with your time. Like what you do with your time, how you work to find money for the family, like where you put your time getting home and just turning on Fox News or just turning on King of the Hill or whatever the fuck, like turning on MSNBC. Like you can be doing something with that time that is more productive for you, for your family, for your brain. And even if it's just like rest so that you can be more productive tomorrow. We're so, I think, just confused about like all of that stuff, you know, and just the fact that like Trump should write me this check because I want this check. Like, I don't know. I've got off on a tangent there, but
no, I feel you.
It's something I think about a lot, which is like, can you do something about it?
You know, I think we leaning towards it. It's just we move pretty slow as a whole. Because now we're realizing people are like, hey, I should actually support companies that support policies that support me. Fucking shocking. 2025.
And it is new to have this much information too. I think that's part of the problem, is this information overload. Yeah. Of like, 100%. Oh, all of these companies did this thing. Like Sephora backed the Trump campaign. Like
Sephora?
That's new information.
Motherfuckers.
Right? Like that's new information
Hold on.
I don't know. People be so shocked that I'm pressed about Sephora.
I swear.
I be fucking people.
I just want you to understand.
I hope y'all got the camera
of
up
all
here
the
realizing
things,
that.
all the things, all of the
Sephora.
companies involved. This motherfucker said, Sephora. Where will I get my concealer from now?
I appreciate your
Absolutely.
On my behalf.
You're not cracking nothing over 8 for real without buying that foundation, my boy. Go in there. Look, I know what the fuck is up. You get the empty one. I think they give you some money off depending on what brand it is. And you don't have to guess the number because a lot of times we don't be knowing that shit, bro. Men are like colorblind.
But again, that's where like the grifting and just onslaught of like such crazy shit plays such a smart part in developing and ruining our psyche, because like when I go to buy something often, I'm like, are they bad? Do I have time to think about that?
But
like,
that's what made
how
The Good
bad?
Place such a great TV show.
Like,
it was like the person who was making the decisions at one point went down to earth to see, you know, why everybody seemed to be struggling because they weren't letting people back into The Good Place anymore.
Yes, that was such a good TV show.
Came back like an hour later, like the Good Place.
The Good Place.
I might need to watch
She
that.
came back an hour later and said, hey, nobody could fucking make it.
Yeah.
Nobody could make it under the circumstances. Capitalism has done such a number on this world that you cannot just be good.
And that show is so good because I think it's Michael Schur wrote a book called How to Be Perfect afterward, because he spent so much time looking into all these philosophies and looking into like the history of how the human brain and like how sociology, how we all connect. Aristotle played it, like all of the very, you know, universalism, all of that. And then he was like, what does it mean to be good?
What does it even mean to be
what
good?
does it mean to be good? What does it mean to be flawed? What does it mean to deserve hell or deserve heaven? And like, what is heaven? What is a perfect place? What is a perfect earth? And I agree. I think that show rules.
And I think one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot is how like no group of people should be governed by the oppressor without representation in said entity or government body. And so we kind of accepted that in a lot of ways because we do the whole representation matters. We push for people of certain demographics to get up there. And I'm waiting for us to say, hey, man, that's a lot of people with financial secure futures determining the future of even more people who don't have a secure summer.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers talk about retirement and what they're going to do in 30 and 40 years, and I can't tell you what I'll do in 4 months if I don't have employment. Mm-hmm. And so I am waiting for the people who do not have a sure future to realize that you've been getting governed by people whose children's children are set.
You can't make them do anything. They don't feel your pain. They don't feel what you feel. They don't fear you, which your government should absolutely do.
100%.
This country is full of people who fear their government when their government should fear us. It's 542 of them. It's 542 of them. I'm sure it's more than 542 of us who are sick of this shit. The problem is that there are also millions and millions of people who enjoy this shit. And that's the real fight. It's you are
But don't we all too? We are a country that, again, demands to be entertained.
All the time.
Almost above
Fucking
everything.
bread and circus.
Almost above everything. Like, which is why Hollywood, which is why we get to do what we do. Like, we demand to be entertained.
And you know what? We're talking about finding joy. I think the need
Which
for joy is normal, but to the degree that we expect it all the time. It's something that when, you had to be bored.
Yeah.
Historically, people have been bored. There were times where there wasn't anything available to entertain them. There was no TV show, right? Like over history, we've become we've become less and less bored.
You remember TV used to go off.
You go to hell, and I do. But my point was, I remember when radio used to go off and they had a morning song when they would come. But the point is,
Yes.
we become less. Like if you were up at midnight, you didn't have anything to watch on TV. That was it. And then you either go to bed or you read a book or you do something.
Talk to the person you laying in a fucking bed with.
You talk to God.
You talk to God. It was a lot more. So now that people aren't bored, the second they put their phone down, there's an expectation in their body. It's not a mental, their body is like, why am I not being stimulated? Watch a kid get off his iPad and then run around the fucking house. What's happening to you is exactly the same. You just have a little more frontal lobe control, so you're not running around the house. But your body is. You still, I need a notification.
You can feel that
ping.
shit.
Yes,
You can feel that
I'm
shit.
anxious. No, you fucking have been on the phone all day, and your body needs
Yeah.
dopamine, and you fucked the levels up.
You know what's crazy? What you just described, I did a social experiment. I was sitting in the 8-9 hour tech rehearsal we had today. Maybe it was 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only person who snuck and took my phone out. And I opened that shit and I saw the headline about Donald Trump and Gaza. And I literally got loud. I was like, "I'll get the motherfucker out of here." And everybody just turned around. The music director, I was like, "It's a new Trump headline." And everybody was like, "Ooh." Yeah. Everybody made sure I'm not opening my phone. You know how fucking crazy that is that energy transfers like that, though? Mm-hmm. A room of people who had no connection to the Wi-Fi. One person opened it and fucked up the energy of a whole room.
How dare you, Kyrie?
I was wrong as hell.
Fuck it. So I did a social experiment. It was a horrible decision.
Topping my fucking. I was talking to y'all.
But again, we have access to all that
No
too. So
accountability.
it's not even just the sort of like needing to be entertained. I mean, for me, we're millennials and up here, right? So we at least like we can recognize it. Like Calvin Evans just posted a joke about this that I thought was great and just a general representation of what's going on. We're like all these apps are designed to control us, but as millennials and up, we have a little bit of resistance still. Like it is still, I will post content because I want my career to move forward, but it is still cringe to me.
It's hard.
Like beyond that, right? Like your brain has developed and your social skills have developed in such a way that it is you can't quite understand the separation of needing to go outside and like play with sticks and whatever, like and get bullied or whatever, like be in the context of a physical person, have to look someone in the eyes to bully them. Actually, like that's a different dynamic and situation. Fall in love, get hurt, get heartbroken, go through that as an actual person, not on the internet where you can then say like this shouldn't have happened to me or you're ugly or whatever. Like there's just so much anonymity or also, so there's that. And the other piece of it that I was going to say is like, yes, it's a degree of needing to be entertained, but for me, what I feel more like the stress of is the needing to be informed. Mm-hmm. Like, like you said, that by the time you came to meet me, you're like, did you see what Trump said about Gaza? And I was like, no, because I was looking up headlines for today based on like sort of the justice of the podcast, and some of the other headlines, and I was like, but I immediately felt like shamed.
Right.
Not from you, but I felt ashamed that I didn't know that was like an hour earlier or 2 hours earlier, and I was like, what do you mean I haven't heard about that yet?
We used to only know news at 6 and 9 or 11, wherever, depending on where you lived, 6 and 10 or 5:30 and 10. That's the only time you found shit out. First thing in the morning when you woke up and got a newspaper. But you weren't constantly aware of shit that you could not influence. That's what anxiety is. It's being concerned about a thing that you can't control, but you also can't stop thinking about because it does directly affect you. And I'm not saying there's nothing you can do about these things, but I'm saying there was a really good thread on Blue Sky the other day, and it was a woman talking about her battle with cancer, and she has terminal cancer. She is absolutely not going to make it.
That's so fucked.
But she doesn't think about it. The only time she thinks about it is when she has an appointment or when she has to make a decision. But on the days where she doesn't have appointments and isn't making a decision, to think about it all day would be so useless because it's not going to cure it. So she spends that time actively living so that when she does die, she has these experiences that she's built up to make her life feel worth it. And we're paralyzed by this fear and this need to be informed now. We all are. I don't want to see any headlines. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to know anything. But the whole time you're like, something's happening. I know something's happening. Something's happening. I know something's happening. The ability to turn that off is scary because, but what if he does something? What if he does do us something, right?
What if you miss?
What if you miss?
What if you
and
miss?
So, yeah, I don't want to be sitting there in my drawers playing with my son's Switch when they come in and go, hey, man, all the black people, unless you could prove that your grandfather used to be white or something, you can't, you know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
So I try my best to be informed enough to kind of be aware of the general direction, but not informed enough to constantly think about it. And there's a Denzel Washington quote. It was a woman, you know which one I'm talking about. He said, you know, to read the news, to not read the news is to be uninformed. To read the news is to be misinformed. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
I can either not know or know and not know what to do with it.
I think something we should do, because we got to wrap today, but I think something we should consider, because we are talking about a lot of like heavy shit, is little like, we had like Somebody's Gotta Ask and some of these other segments, arts and activists, like we can bring some of that stuff back, but maybe also just like little individual sort of like solutions, like a highlight reel of the week. We call it in prison yoga meetings, we call it a right foot. That's how we start that's how we start our meetings, is just saying like something that went right this week. And I mean, kind of to your just last point too, I opened a yoga class this morning with an Eckhart Tolle quote that was like, actual liberation, I'm synthesizing it a little bit, but actual liberation is knowing that I am not my thoughts, and who am I then? I am the person that sees that. I am the being that sees that I am not my thoughts. So for me, that's something I come back to pretty regularly, because I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of fear around this stuff. And like, yes, we make jokes about it. We weren't very funny today because none of us been feeling that funny today, I guess. Like,
I disagree. I think we funny. Fuck y'all.
You were pretty funny today.
I think everybody.
You had your moments.
Yeah.
I don't think I made a single joke today.
I ain't make too many kikis today.
Yeah. But I don't know. For anyone that is listening, I think that's the valuable share from me today. That's my artist today, is Toll.
I like that. Right on. You said right foot.
What's something that happened to you that was good this week, that made you feel like I have enough juice to keep going?
A little thing is people really enjoy me. I wrote a joke about Elon actually being shaped like a Tesla truck, so that was pretty cool.
Cybertruck body.
Yes, I definitely.
No forehead.
Fucking weird ass abdomen. Fucking weird ass diet. All right. So I've been having weird stuff happening, and talking to angels at night, not sleeping. It even sparked my sketch that I wrote that is in the show. So if y'all come to the review, you'll see a sketch that's loosely based on some of the conversations I've been having. Like, because the whole sketch is about trying to get into heaven, but it's a club, and so you're trying to get in. And everybody's trying to get in. And I, like, because after rewrites, after like 5 people help you rewrite, some of the original stuff is gone.
Yeah.
And so, like, I wanted to just reiterate this thing that I took away from some of the conversations. You are enough. Like, so much shit happen daily. You can open your phone 5 times in an hour and you might get 6 reasons that might feel like you ain't shit or that your life ain't where it's supposed to be. And I can't help but express that there is a entity and there is a force that is in your favor even when you cannot see it or feel it. And I hope that if you listen, you find the courage and the strength and the resources and the love needed to become a version of yourself that you are not yet.
Yeah, you're here. Right.
That sounded really cool too. I think you have a voice that makes people walk back from the ledge a little bit.
That's because I'm at the ledge.
yeah.
You do. You do.
Take my stardom, get the fuck
All right,
back.
What's your right foot? And we need to plug quick and how's it go?
It's been a really cool. I released my special last Friday.
Yeah,
and,
you did.
And the viewing hours is inching up. I think I'm at like 600 or 700 viewing hours.
How the hell you jump up? That's over double of what you had last week.
It's It's been really cool to see people like discovering it. And when you think about people who say stuff like, "Well, I only had 1,000 people watch my video." 1,000 people is Thalia Hall. That's a theater. You know what I mean? Like if you got 200 people listening to you say things, when you first started doing stand-up, you had a sports bar full of people who are watching sports. Now you are frustrated that when you go online, your success isn't equal to the person who has built this big platform over the period of time. I put my special out, it got to people who could not otherwise see you and maybe would not have otherwise known you. If it was one, you won. But we're talking about thousands. And then you also talk about, to see people respond to it and get it. Like you're a weirdo comic if you're not doing the hacky shit. And it's not to say that, the only way to be funny is to be either some outrageous weirdo or to be hacky. But I'm saying that I'm trying to be myself. I'm talking about things that don't really make sense in context of what my demographic should be. 50-year-old black men aren't talking about queer rights or the struggles that their wife had with her pregnancy and breastfeeding.
Which is weird.
Right, because we should. That's why the young dudes don't know what the fuck to do, because the old dudes aren't telling them what's really happening. They're not telling them that your wife is an actual person that has feelings and dreams and goals and things that she wants to do, and that she is subject to the same type of pressures that you are, where you start to feel like you're not enough. And so when you overlook her as a person, you fuck your whole relationship up, you fuck her up, and you fuck whatever bond you have up, because she no longer feels safe with you. And so if we're not telling you that, and we just talking old weird pimp shit, yeah, man, sometimes you got to tell her da-da-da-da-da. That's not you. That's not you, Earl. Earl, that's not you. When you go home, you don't run your house. That's why you talking shit here. You want to be out all the time because you want everybody. If you actually had a house where you were in control, why the fuck would you leave it?
And now you out here creating situations for people to fall into despair so you can have a friend.
Anybody know me? I don't like to go outside. I like my house. I'm comfortable there. So this week to like see people understand that I was loving on my family and trying to be funny while dealing with some really difficult shit, there were a lot of comments. Then for women to hear a man describe that part of pregnancy or that part of trying to breastfeed that way really connected with me, and it made me feel seen myself. And so when I first started doing comedy, I said I wanted to make sure I did something more to make people laugh. To put that special out, regardless of how many people see it or don't see it, to know that I've already done that was probably the best thing that's happened to me this week. Probably in a few years.
Watch the special.
But definitely go watch it. It's funny. That's what the people.
I'll tell you what the people say. I'm down. If you want to like,
it's got 99% positive responses. Thumbs up, more thumbs up. I only had like 2 thumbs down, dog. I'm killing it out here.
I think that just
that might have been my mom, if we being real.
Watch the special.
Check out the special. Check out the shows. We have a show coming, 2/28, correct?
Yes, Friday, February 28th at 7 o'clock. We are live. We're live recording here at the Lincoln Lodge. Please buy tickets. Please support. We need the financial support on this podcast. We're working on plenty of things to get that in gear. But if you like us, share it. Come hear us do some stuff. We'll be doing like live Q&A, a bunch of different stuff that we're just going to try out. You can be a part of this, like we're saying, sort of like at the ground, and then say you were a part of it. Like we know this will grow. So yeah, we've got that.
Pictures too, so we can remember this moment.
Yeah, and if you saw us, if you met us at the Lincoln Lodge in the bar area and you work for WANA, please DM me because I can't find your card. Thank you.
And if we try to find you, thank you in advance for ideally responding.
We're still gonna find you.
I'm also in Janesville and
special
Wilmington
skills.
coming up.
Yeah.
I need to plug those because now I'm responsible for moving tickets. I'm headlining Janesville Comedy Cabin on February 6th and Dead Crow Comedy in Wilmington on February 13th.
Where are these places at? Where's...
Wilmington, North Carolina, and Janesville, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Say the full thing, huh?
Comedy Cabin,
I
Dead
think
Crow
she figured
Comedy.
the people who live there know
February
where they are.
6th and February 13th. Well, there's a Wilmington, Delaware, so it's fair. North Carolina
That was fair.
and Wisconsin. Please come out to those shows too. Again, we'll talk about stuff.
Yeah, I'll be there if it's trunk space. So
I won't be there with trunk space, but what I will be is in Charlotte, April 10th through 12th, and I'm plugging that early because it is going to sell out. The Saturday night show already has 4 times the tickets sold from all of the other days, so if you wanted to go to that show, you might want to buy those tickets now. Charlotte.
Do it to it.
April 10th through 12th.
See you here in Chicago at the Lincoln Lodge if you're coming to that. And
Dipset.
this is Beyond Bars.
shit.
When
I'm sorry.
is your
Oh, fuck.
and Kyrie's
I got selected for the Bob Curry Fellowship in Second City, and I have a review
Say
coming.
Say
It
it.
premieres on Tuesday, and it happens every Tuesday leading through the month of February. Half of my brain don't feel like it's working. I'm so sorry. Love to the entire Bob Curry. Feels great to be an alum.
We've mentioned it like 6 times trying to
Kyrie's
help
got
him.
his
Talked about
shows.
the show, bro.
Come to our shows. This has been Beyond Bars, recorded at the Lincoln Lodge.
Special
Produced
thanks
by
to Tyler.
us. Tyler records. Christian
your last
and the
name
Lincoln Lodge
Kravis?
provide audio.
Like
and
Lenny
our
Kravitz?
music
Oh, but it's a little bit like it.
is by OG McWill.
Shout out to Mick Napier, just because he wrote the book on improv, literally.
I hurt my ears today.